Hi, everyone. I talked about this a while ago, but we actually have like a legit podcast now. I've been wanting to have one that was just a thing to talk about stuff and wanted to have a decent title. And oh boy, you have no idea. Everyone and their mother has a podcast now. So finding a podcasting title is borderline impossible now. But like, I work in a factory that deals a lot with like measurements and stuff like that. And like my channel is Organoid Zero. So I was thinking like, let's try and find something that ties in with it. And for people that don't know, that's what the title is, zeroing out. What a common phrase for when you set a machine back to its start point so that you could start a measurement again or start working so that it's good off of what the process you were just doing is. You're zeroing out a machine so that it's at its basis point and it's good to start over a new function or a new utility of what you're going to use it for. So I thought once a month, and if it gets going enough, maybe down to bi-weekly. I don't think I'll ever do this bi-monthly. I don't think I'll ever do this weekly. But I figure zeroing out, you had a whole month of stuff happen. Anyone is welcome on this podcast. It'll more likely always be me and Mike. That you come in, talk a little bit about your month, some interesting stuff that you did, and also bring a subject that you would like to talk about. We'll all kind of go round robin throughout it. It'll just be a fun time to come and discuss a more free-for-all setup than basic subjects like we normally do with like fresh takes, movie reviews, other things like that. It's just kind of anything goes and anything can go at any time. But yeah, so it'll be once a month starting out. And the exact day at the end of the month, we're not exactly sure. It's not something, again, I don't get paid for this, so I'm not going to be, if it doesn't happen one month, oh well, kind of thing. But I think once a month is going to be pretty easy to manage. I was not going to strike high and try and just push people because I'm not that kind of guy. But yeah, it's got me and Mike here. And Manny took no time flat. How's it going, bud? So, Mike, how's your month been? Interesting stuff happened. What's going
on? Well, the month's kind of started. I had some family over the weekend of 4th of July. Mm-hmm. Some family came in from out of town. We enjoyed some fireworks at our local country club. Nice. And then the rest of the month is honestly just kind of par for the course. For those who know me well enough, I have kind of become a workaholic in like my adult years. Basically, all I do now is work and do podcasting stuff, whether it's for this channel or the podcast network, Renegade Pop Culture. Mm-hmm. So that's basically been my life. As far as like movies that I've been catching up with, my usual animation co-host Cameron is out of town this week, so I kind of flew solo and wrote some reviews for DC's League of Super Pets, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart, among a bevy
of people.
Yeah, it's good. It has similar sense of humor of like the Lego Batman movie and other like Lego type movies like that. It has like it's a very cute animal centric kind of superhero romp. There's a villain played by Kate McKinnon, and I honestly think she gives one of her best performances.
Nice.
And then a movie I saw today was Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, kind of the other big indie darling from A24 that just came to my local theater this weekend, and I wrote a lot about it on the website. You can check out my review there. But long story short, this movie is incredible. It doesn't sound like much on the surface, but it's just really a very sweet coming of age story that just happens to feature a sentient shell who goes on a grand adventure.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Man, as far as my month goes, I am also a workaholic, but I'm doing some remodeling to my house. And also, I recently finally just upgraded to actually having a good PC setup, specifically tailored around streaming. I've been buying gaming laptops for the longest time, and I'm lucky that I have a very technology-centric roommate who does like programming for a living and other things. Built his own PC, and I was kind of like, I just can't build my own PC. And then all of these just like, well, there's plenty of websites that could do it for you, and I have one that's highly recommended. So Build Redux, BUILD space RUDUX, built me one. I went in. It took me no time flat. It was super cheap. It was super easy. And in 2.5 weeks, I had my new build here. I bought monitors, got myself to a 3-monitor setup now. It's been great. I've been able to get back into streaming again, which has made me incredibly happy. I got the freaking desync issue with audio. Anyone that ever streams with an Elgato, an AverMedia, anything, any type of like not PC direct PCI Express card, anything, you always have a form of a delay that you have to deal with. And luckily, I got the delay hammered out. There's a second of delay when I use the HD 4K, that new Elgato card that I have now that's directly into the PC and not like an external one like I used to have. So I just put 2 500-millisecond delays and I got it hammered out. So it works great. Been doing some Resident Evil streams like that. Going to keep doing those. Very happy. I've been on an anime binging take for a while, but that kind of took a pause because, again, I was working a ton. And just trying to get this all done was just racking my brain because I can be an incredible worrier and I want to make sure everything's working fine. And like you, outside of work, and I'm pretty much just doing stuff for Renegade and for the thing here, which like none of you know this. We're like me and Mike and a co-host friend of ours, and we're going to be starting another one next month. We're like 45 episodes of content ahead on Fresh Takes. It's kind of insane. We're doing very good content-wise, which makes me very happy. It's going to get to a point where I have to upload 2 different series of Fresh Takes a month. Otherwise, you guys won't see a recording for a year, and I'm not going to be that person. But it's a good problem to have.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
But it's an incredibly easy series to do, which makes me very happy. But yeah, I recently, outside of like the one that we just did, that was a Netflix anime, which y'all will find out in time, just started watching. I've seen parts 1 and 2, which is Phantom Blood and I can't remember the ones, but JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. A good friend of mine, Chris Sigmund, got into it and started reading the anime, and then a person who we've done Fresh Takes with, which the first one you'll see in 3 weeks, a friend of mine, Masao, that used to be for my Ruby group with the Ruby reviews, is a giant fan of it, absolute huge fan. And I've only known the memes, all of this. I've known that it's music oriented. It's so bad. It's one of those things where they literally have to change almost every character's name when they do the dubs because it is copyright city. You just can't. Like the one I just watched was an episode featuring Dan of Steel. The guy's name's supposed to be Steely Dan.
Oh.
But it's, of course, it's Dan of Steel. And like there's a character called Trish Yuna that's in part 5, I want to say. And her stand in the anime is called Spicy Lady. It's supposed to be Spice Girl. Like, it's a bunch of stuff like that where they literally just can't do it. Like my favorite one is, I can't think of what the character's name, but his stand name is D4C, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. But I believe it's something like filthy tasks done at a reasonable price. It's so ridiculous. Oh, it's the best. It makes it even funnier when you got to realize the crap that he's got to go with. The guy who makes it, which I can't think of his name.
I got it. The writer of the manga is Hirohiko Araki.
Araki, yeah. The dude is a giant fan of all things Western music and movies. So, like, all the stands are based off of, like, stuff. Like, there's Notorious B.I.G. is a stand that only activates after the guy's dead. There's just all this stuff. The guy is the biggest Western music nerd on the planet. He's great. And like, there's other stuff if you read the Jonathan Joestar novels where they have things called Beyonds that are based off of movies instead of music. It's nuts. It's just off the wall stupidity at all times, and it's the best form of it. You wouldn't want it to be normal. Like I told him yesterday when we were recording the finale of the second Fresh Takes that we now have in the can that hasn't shown yet, that one of the main characters literally fights like a sentient like skin tag for the entire episode. It's hilarious. But yeah, I caught up on, I'm like 16 episodes in, and like each one's around 32 episodes. And like my favorite that I've seen or read about so far, Jolene, is on the current one with Netflix, but it's David Productions. They're taking a break to do another season of Fire Force, and then they'll go back to JoJo. But yeah, I'm quite excited to start hammering through those, because that is just, you never know what you're getting. I've been spoiled on so much, and I still don't know what happens in the show.
For those who haven't seen JoJo yet, where can someone just start from the beginning?
Everything's on Netflix now. Everything. On Netflix now.
Because,
everything. Because Netflix got the rights to stream the newest one, part 6, Stone Ocean. So then everything just moved clean over. Like they only had part 1 through 3 and then have the others. But then once they started getting the rights to have it be a Netflix thing, all the other ones just got popped right into Netflix. So everything you want to watch is on Netflix. There's even I want to say he's from part 4. There, Rohan is like a side character that somehow got his own series. I have no idea about him because I haven't met him yet. I know he's got a really weird stand where he could basically kind of like draw something on a piece of paper and it basically just happens. But yeah, check out JoJo's. Pop on Netflix. Literally everything's there
now. The spinoff that you're referring to is called Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan.
Yep. And just, I will tell you, if you are okay with just having fun, ride it out, because it starts out, blah. Man, that first series, it pulls no punches from the start. It just doesn't. And then the ship don't stop ever. Once they get, because they don't have stands at first, they have this thing called Hamon, which is basically solar energy that they just channel through things. And then when it got to 3, they realized we can't use Hamon because it's gotten very limited. So then they started using stands, and just the brakes never stopped. There's a fight, Mike, where this ship just comes out of nowhere when they're stranded in the middle of the ocean, and they just get on it, and they're like, okay. And normally the rule is only stand users can see other stands. But sometimes if the stand user's energy is so powerful that anyone can see it. And then they're on this ship, and this little girl that's with them and these sailors that are with them that were supposed to be helping them travel, they are on this ship. And then they find this monkey in a cage that's locked in it. And it's like trying to help them get out. And they're like, this little girl keeps traveling back to like check on the monkey. And like, it starts smoking. It starts looking at like a porno magazine. It's just weird. And then it breaks out later, and you find out that this monkey, its stand is the boat they're on. It like just swallowing them whole. It starts like hitting them with pipes and all. It's so dumb.
I gotta get on the JoJo train soon,
dude. It's one of those things where it's like, it is genuinely one of those where it's like, your reaction on a Fresh Takes would be like, if you could ever hold out to where we would do it on a Fresh Takes, just you hearing the stupidity of how they have to copyright change the names of the stands would be awesome each week. Like just having you guess what the stand's name is actually supposed to be. Because some of them you could never even, like Dan of Steel, you would never know that was Steely Dan unless I told you. And it's just, it's crazy. And like I said, they eventually start looking for pieces of Jesus's body later on. It's all over the place. But yeah, that's been pretty much my week. Collected a little bit more manga. Like I've started getting Soul Eater over there to to get it because I've heard the ending is just miles different. But yeah, that's pretty much me. So to explain this, like I said, we're gonna have we had a total of 4 people lined up for this, but the other 2, they have lives and stuff, so it didn't quite work out. But again, we'll try again next time. Mike brought up, it's like we could just talk about the Hall H stuff. That'd be a long time, because this is going to be. Eventually, I'm going to start putting this out. I know nothing about putting out podcasts. Luckily, I have a friends that put out a bunch of them, so I'll figure that out. But like, for now, this will be put out in a whole section on my channel. But eventually, once it actually goes on to a network, I'm just going to take like interesting chunks and like put that there, so in case you're interested and you want to listen to the episode, kind of thing. But yeah, we're basically just going to talk about Hall H now. So if anyone's interested, that's what we're basically going to do. So. Also, hello, Derpy. I see you over there. How's it going, buddy? And Manny, dude, I don't know if you can see this from here. Where's my phone? You're talking about how you need to watch more anime. Dude, I got so bad to where I just had people throwing names at me. I have a ever-going recommendation list where I had to break it into episodes. Dude, this thing just goes and goes and goes and goes. And every weekend I've been hammering one out until I got the JoJo's, but that's like 100 and something episodes of just all of them put together. So I'll get through it eventually.
That kind of list is a living document. Even for me, when it comes to both like anime, Western animation, movies that I haven't seen, the list doesn't. It never shrinks. It only grows.
It only grows. And the worst part is, like, I've given permissions on that to 2 or 3 of my friends. So every time they're like, I forgot one. And then all of a sudden I'll see the document got edited. I'm like, damn it. Where did they add it? And I don't even know because it's just in the thing somewhere. So I have to scan and try and remember. No. But yeah. All right. So we are going to get into everything that happened at Hall H. And kind of just, give our honest thoughts on it. So, they had a big old schmoz happen at Hall H this year. And a whole ton of stuff happened. And this thing was in no particular order, but it basically covered everything.
Oh, so we're going as far back as Friday's panel.
Yeah.
With all the animation stuff.
This thing's got everything. So we're just going to go through. Mike, basic thoughts on Spider-Man freshman year, how they're handling this and what's going on.
I am actually kind of thankful that this is confirmed to not take place in the main MCU.
Me too.
Because they, for those who didn't see any of the footage or concept art, they put out character art.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Sorry, keep going.
You're good. So they put out character art for like all the different characters that you see in this show. You got Norman Osborn, Daredevil's in this.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, a bunch of
Octavius, Scorpion, tons of people.
I think even Harry Osborn's in this. Like, I can't remember exactly how this was pitched initially, but everything that has come out of it now sounds like it's going to be something awesome.
Yeah, and I don't have an exact picture up here, but the art style they showed for this looks great.
Yeah, the art style kind of like pretty much harkens back to like the classic Stan Lee, Steve Ditko comic book aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I think that looks really cool.
Yeah, and like the only thing that they've said, and like it said it here, is that we will get Daredevil with Charlie Cox voicing him.
Yep.
That's pretty. I cannot imagine how ecstatic Charlie Cox is to be back as Daredevil in all of this stuff now.
Yeah, we'll get to we'll get to the live action stuff in a bit, but starting next month, honestly, Charlie Cox is like taking over the MCU,
Mm-hmm.
at least on the street level side of things.
I do gotta love though, where they're kind of just like, Charlie Cox is back. There's extreme rumors that Jessica Jones is going to show up in She-Hulk, and like they're like, man, we'd really like to have Luke Cage back. Nobody is mentioned this.
One thing I do kind of hope for, at the very least, we get Nelson and Murdoch.
Yeah, I would assume we would, because man, they're gonna get. He's getting an 18, not to get bury the lead here, but he's getting an 18 episode special. 18. That's nuts. That's Netflix level again.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I bet they're going to do is they're probably going to do like nine for like a part 1, and then the back 9 for part 2.
I would imagine they're going to kind of make it so that it stays within their season of like stuff. Because, or however they do it, I'm happy, because again, I want the length of the show to signify how long the story needs to be. Not the story needs to match we only want to give you 6 episodes, which looks like they're getting out of with all these future shows, judging by the episode length.
Yeah. Now getting back to Spider-Man freshman year, we're not going to see this until 2024, which, yeah, I understand like some fans are, a little bit restless because 2 years can seem like a long time, but trust me when I say it's better for them to take their time and not rush this out. And B, look, 2 years can go by like this.
Oh, no time. I can't. Yesterday it was 2019.
Right?
Literally. I mean, I don't remember COVID. I don't. Everything that happened, I don't remember.
It's all a blur.
Exactly. Outside of getting my PS5 and the better TV, I don't remember anything that happened in the past 2.5 years. Oh, and exactly. Just like Manny mentioned here. You literally cannot rush good animation. Do you want to know why? Oh boy. Into the Spider-Verse looks so good?
They took their sweet ass time.
Exactly. If it's going to look like that, I'm good. And especially with a different style of art, take your time. No one is going to be upset once it's here. All that crap's going to go out the window. So it tends to always happen. No, it's taking so long. Whatever. Oh, it's here. Yay! Oh, the only time that ever complains is if it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Which, oh man, I can't remember who it was. It was a game developer. A delayed game is good eventually, but a rushed game is bad. But a rushed game to go out on date is bad forever. It's something to that degree.
Mm.
And it's gonna be great. I'm just happy to have I would love to get something again where you can have something that's just a cartoon that you don't need to do. Like, you remember how great Spectacular Spider-Man was?
Oh my god. What happened to that show is just so unfair.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, that's on Netflix now. So
yeah. Go watch it. It's the best version of the Venom storyline you'll ever see. Ever. And it literally got killed because of the Disney merger. Because of them. It just, I'm so pissed that they got the animation rights back, so it just got killed off. It was so great. That animation style was awesome. Everybody did a good job, and it was written so damn well. And
even Spidey's supporting cast was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, you had everyone there. You had Liz Allen, you had Gwen, everybody. Their version of Eddie Brock was awesome. Oh, everything was so freaking well done. And they had so much stuff going on right when it got canceled. That would be one thing. If there ever was we got the X-Men cartoon continuing. People start petitioning for them somehow to get Spectacular Spider-Man going again.
I would love it.
No one would complain. I could tell you right now, no one ever would. Campaign to get Spectacular Spider-Man going again and getting Gargoyles going again.
Yes. Those are my 2 bucket list revivals.
I have one third one. Bring back the Mighty Ducks cartoon.
Oh, God.
And actually care this time. Because that was a great idea that y'all fumbled because you didn't give a crap to write a continuous storyline and just went week by week. That might be just me, but the main character had one of the coolest names in all of cartoons ever. Wild Wing Flashblade. That is the most 90s name I've ever heard.
That is very 90s.
But all right, the next, coming up pretty damn quick, we have I Am Groot. I don't know what they're doing with this or what even this is supposed to be.
So
I haven't looked into it.
So do you remember in like phases 1 and 2, Marvel did like one shots?
Yeah.
This is kind of like this is a little bit more of a serialized version of that.
Okay.
And what's cool about this is because Rocket and Groot are like CD characters, this is basically just like a series of animated shorts with photorealistic animation. And I think there's like 10 episodes total, probably no more than like 5 minutes each. And it's just Groot being cute, doing cute Groot things.
You want to know what I'd like them to do with this that I haven't seen them do in forever?
I
would like for them, and like if they ever have credit, if they like have decent credits at the end of these, I want so bad to like the old school Pixar fully animated, acted like they were accidents bloopers.
Yes.
Like Bug's Life, that was one of the best things ever. Or I don't remember if it was in the Toy Story bloopers or it was in the Bug's Life bloopers where the toys are going through the grass and accidentally smack the main cast.
That's in Toy Story 2.
That's what
and it's probably one of the best bloopers that they've ever done.
It's so good. It's just like, man, there's no point of having those, but they're so good. Ah, I miss that 90s era of Pixar. I miss it so much. Oh, he's cute in movies, so I don't mind seeing more Groot. I don't mind seeing more Groot either. Is it still Vin Diesel voicing him technically?
Yep.
That is nuts.
And Bradley Cooper is back playing Rocket.
Of course. Man, Vin Diesel's got to have one of the sweetest jobs ever.
He really does.
How many different ways can you say I am Groot? Let's give me a try. All right, so and then the next show coming up, which is in like 2 weeks.
Hold on. There's
did we miss something?
Yeah, it's not on this document, or maybe they're going in chronological order.
I think they might be going in chronological.
Because one of the other things they announced, we talked briefly about X-Men 97. We know that's coming out fall 2023.
Mm-hmm.
We're also getting What If season 2.
Yep.
And then there's a specific detail why I wanted to bring this up. Marvel Zombies is rated TVMA.
Yes.
And there's 2 reasons why this is important.
It's gonna make parents upset.
Well,
because they already are, because they put Logan and Deadpool on Disney Plus.
Yeah. So, the other reason why it's important that Zombies is TVMA, this emboldens Marvel Studios to bring back some of the other Netflix characters, specifically Punisher. Punisher is the one that I've wanted to see continue about as much as Daredevil, but more so than literally everyone else.
Absolutely. And John Barenthal has point blank said in his own words, I'm not doing some pussy PG-13 version of the Punisher.
Like if they can bring him back, I would be so happy.
Which, man, speaking of the Punisher, like 2 months ago, I think it was 2 months. Yeah, it was the beginning of June. I went to my one of my best friend's wedding in Texas, and on the way down there, we were watching DVDs in the van as we were driving. I finally watched for the first time in probably like 10 years that Thomas Jane Punisher movie. Outside of the dumb car making the Punisher skull at the end, that thing holds up.
Fun fact, that was like one of the first like soundtracks that I purchased like with my own money.
Was it because it had Seether and Evanescence?
It was part of it.
That was the thing back in the day with iTunes. That was one of them. You could not buy that song individually. You had to buy the Punisher soundtrack in order to get that song. They used to pull that horse crap with certain ones to make you buy the full album.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got Spotify.
Yep.
Oh, how times have changed. But yeah, that was back in the day of the song that sold the trailer that sold the movie. They don't do that anymore. I kind of miss that.
Honestly, same. Like there may be some exceptions, like for Black Panther, Kendrick Lamar produced the soundtrack, and it's like it was like genuinely one of like the biggest albums of that year.
Oh yeah.
But that's a rarity in the modern movie landscape.
Yeah. Do you know one of the last ones was? I don't remember what it is, but there is a Batman Begins trailer that is solely centered around a Nickelback song, and I don't remember what it is.
I think the song was Someday.
Someday. It could
be. It is like it's such a bizarre TV spot too.
It's so weird.
Because this, like, in no way does the song match the tone of the actual film.
No. It was so weird. And it's like, it's not like back in the day when Josie Scott and Chad Kroeger did Hero for Spider-Man 2. That was still a monumental occasion. That song rips, and I don't care what anyone says. But yeah, it's crazy to me. I want that to happen every now and then. I want the song for that, like, kind of, the only time you really get that now is Guardians.
Yeah, and even then, it's like a classic, like a more classic mix, because, you know, Star-Lord is time displaced.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, it's such a 90s and early 2000s thing that I loved, that I want back so bad. What was the one for Daredevil? Oh yeah, it was the Evanescence track that made them famous.
Oh, Bring Me to Life.
Bring Me to Life, yeah, with Electro punching, stabbing sandbags in the room. Oh, it's great. But yeah, it's, oh my God. Oh, back in the day. All right, so I believe this is going in chronological order here. She-Hulk. Like, this is barely 2 weeks away.
Yep.
A little bit more. And I'm not going to lie, in that new trailer, that CG looks much better.
Yeah, they definitely stepped up their game.
Yeah, it's man, I don't know how that series is gonna go. I really don't.
It's gonna be interesting. Like, based on this new trailer, we know a couple things. One, we know a little bit of how Jessica, is that her name? Jessica Walters?
No, Jen Walters.
Jen Walters.
Yes.
We know how she got her powers, which was, I guess, from a car crash.
Yeah, it wasn't a which it originally was a blood transplant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So we have a new origin for Jennifer Walters. Wong is here doing things.
Wong is somehow like a second Nick Fury now.
I think he is like, so like some other people have described him as like the new Phil Coulson.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I'm okay with, because Benedict Wong is awesome, and we already know he has like a rapport with Abomination. And
I've seen it. She made no sense whatsoever.
Who knows? Maybe it'll make more sense now.
God, I hope so. I just want to know how it was like, I need to help this man. I've never met him before. But yeah, we'll see him. And like, I want to know how, or if like the mutations just kept happening, but I just like how every time with these old Disney designs that they're somehow just going up to where it's like, yeah, we're giving you what they want because he's got his fish scale ears now. They didn't need to do that, but they're kind of just like, yeah, we didn't put that in the original.
And how cool is that Tim Roth is just here now?
Yeah, like it sucks about the whole William Hurt thing.
It does.
But like, was he in this?
Was he in She-Hulk?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because man, at some point, the only Hulk card they have left to play after She-Hulk is Red Hulk. And we were going to be getting the Thunderbolts.
We'll get to that in a minute, but
yeah.
What one possible recast that I've seen kind of thrown around for Ross is Ed Harris.
I've seen that too, and I'd be very okay with that.
Yeah. I think just the more I think about it, the more it has to happen.
It's kind of perfect, if you're being honest. You need a perfectly crotchety but still somehow respectable old man. It's just Ed Harris. But yeah, it'll be cool. Like, this is 9 episodes, right?
Yep.
And they're fully doing the superhero lawyer. I'm trying to see how they're gonna I don't want to say how like out there or how famous of a client they're gonna give her for this, if at anything, if they're ever gonna or they're just gonna have her go through a list of like names and people are just gonna have to pay attention that was a famous name.
This will probably be one of those shows where you really got to keep your eyes peeled. For cameos, Easter eggs. And again, I'm really hoping that Nelson and Murdoch is still a thing.
Oh, I bet it will. I bet she's going to have to bring it up because he's in the show in his yellow costume.
Yep.
And then there's going to be something where it's just like, again, there's rumors that Jessica Jones might show up. Just all the toys are back in the toy chest now. It's so weird. You're just like, we don't need anybody else. We have them all, and we're going to do it correctly. Now, yeah, we'll have to see how all that goes, because this is prime territory. Oh my goodness, territory to just have random goofballs show up that no one has ever heard of, but they're real. So we'll see. Like James Gunn level of references of goofballs that you could just have show up in random offices where she's like, are you for real? Who did? And then just whatever. But yeah.
Do you think we'll see more of the Department of Damage Control in this?
We could, because as a superhero lawyer, she would have to be dealing with them.
That's true.
Like, do you think she could bring up Kamala's case?
I would love to see that.
Or like her just having a phone call with the parents?
Like, yeah. And anything of that sort would be just wonderful.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of good opportunities to do stuff like that. Which, yeah, where it's just like these small connections that just aren't a big deal, but you can always just like have that character on speed dial. We're like, we need you to come to set for like a day. Okay, we'll pay you an appearance. Yeah, there's a good amount of cool little moments you can have with that. So I greatly appreciate that. Again, with the 9 episodes, they give you a good opportunity to let it breathe. Because outside of dealing with herself and maybe having to fight Abomination or someone else, you don't have a villain shown here yet, which is nuts to me. Because like in Hawkeye, give or take, we didn't have Fisk right away. But like you had inklings of the Tracksuit Mafia and of Echo. We don't have like a big bad guy unless Abomination gets out. And I don't think they're going to do something that simple.
No. Probably what they're going to do is Abomination is going to be... I don't want to say he's going to be like the Hannibal Lecter of the series, but there's clearly a reason why he and Walters are connected.
Yeah, and it's like, also they're just like, if we're doing a She-Hulk series, we're somehow bringing Abomination back somehow, because so many people were pissed because Abomination clearly never got killed. But yeah, and this is also another one of the big, that Incredible Hulk movie doesn't connect with the MCU. Yes, it does. Yes, it was. You just all don't like to remember that it did.
Oh, as far as villains go, I don't know if she qualifies as a villain, but Jamila Jamil is playing Titania, who's kind of like...
right.
I wouldn't call her a villain so much like a rival. But yeah, I'm excited to see how these two interact.
You know, one thing that they need to address that's Hulk related somewhere? The leader.
Yeah.
They still have never not done a damn thing with him.
It would be nice to see him at least mentioned here.
Like if they do a season 2, somehow she deals with them in a season 2.
Yeah.
Because that was made very apparent that he was changing in that movie and just nothing happened. And like everything is being brought in here. The other thing that is just gone completely is Liv Tyler.
Oh, poor Betty Ross.
Betty Ross does not exist. She was just so gone and forgotten. That is crazy to me. They went so far as to have them set up with Natasha in Age of Ultron. She could not exist less if she tried.
She had more screen time in What If than she has in like the rest of the MCU.
That's crazy to me. But again, it's the nature of the beast, and like we don't even know what her contract status was, or if she even wanted to come back. So it is what it is. We'll see. They got 9 episodes of stuff to do, so they got a lot more breathing room to do cool stuff. So, speaking of a lot of cool stuff that could happen, the one I'm most interested in to just see what they actually even do is Black Panther 2.
Yeah. So before we saw the trailer, I was starting to get worried about the state of this movie. I knew they had to show something at Comic-Con, which is why I wasn't totally concerned about the lack of marketing. Mm-hmm. But I was nervous just because, like, when they put out posters, like all they had was just the title. Like, there wasn't any other like concept art or like official concept art, or anything. And in hindsight, I think that was all intentional because this trailer is one of the best first trailers I've seen in quite a while.
It's very good, and it's also Ryan Coogler has had the biggest stage of unfortunate events that any MCU director's ever had to deal with.
Basically, anything that could have gone wrong did go wrong, and somehow they still came together to finish the damn thing.
It's crazy to me. It's like, not just even as like Chadwick Boseman dying as a human being is one of the worst things that could have happened to this world. He's one of the most genuine human beings I've ever heard things about in my life.
Same. Not since Robin Williams has a celebrity death been like that, like shattering for the entire industry.
It has, and it's like all those people, when seeing pictures of Chad out in public just looking like garbage, giving him crap that he's not staying in superhero shape and whatever, and how he was filming those movies. it basically, instead of taking care of himself, is crazy. Because he knew how important Black Panther was. He needed that representation out there, and he wanted to put forth and help with that representation. He cared more about every single person on this planet than himself. And
he will forever be missed.
Yeah.
And this trailer will not let you forget that.
No. And just the fact that we have Namor in anything is still somehow blowing my mind. Namor was always the one where I'm like, what are they going to do with him?
I remember, like, for the longest time, Universal had the rights to Namor,
and they never did anything.
Yeah, they literally just sat on the rights to the character for years.
Yeah, I just gotta wonder if Kevin and Marvel were just like ticking the clock to going, you're not doing anything, come on! Where, yeah, it's like, and how they were gonna handle him, because isn't he like technically one of the first mutants ever? If you go by one version of comics, and like now, like also we have Atlanteans in both movies now.
Yeah, it's
both
crazy.
cinematic universes. It's crazy. And like,
hold on about that. So
or is he not technically an Atlantean now?
Yeah. The civilization that he rules is called Talokan or Talakan.
Is that a comic thing that just came way later that I didn't hear about?
No, this is like an actual Aztecian civilization.
Really?
Yeah.
I've legit never heard of it. Never once. Just like, is it basically like the Aztec version of Atlantis, like an underwater whatever or something that got lost, or what?
Well, according to Wikipedia, Talokan, or as it means, place of Tialak, is described in several Aztec codices as a paradise ruled over by the rain deity. I'm having a tough time pronouncing this.
I did. That's fine.
And his consort, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that.
It's all good.
It absorbed those who died through drowning or lightning, or as a consequence of diseases associated with the rain deity. So they basically for the MCU combined Atlantis with like a ancient Aztecian or Mayan civilization.
That's a really cool idea. I really, really like that. Huh. Well, that's awesome. Either way, I didn't think we were going to see him ever. It's one of those things where it's just kind of like, he is like the bottom rung of well-known Marvel characters. Like, he's in there, but everyone's heard of Aquaman. Not everyone's heard of Namor.
And ironically, Namor is the one who came onto the scene first in the comics.
Yeah. But Aquaman's just overshadowed him completely. But yeah, it's going to be one of those things where it's just, Black Panther is connected with a ton of people that people don't realize that, like, extremely with the Fantastic Four. And if rights would have been different and at a different time, I would have loved to have seen the Storm and T'Challa marriage in the MCU, because that's a power couple that nobody's messing with. But yeah, getting to see him coming up and actually having this fight, and it's like the thing that's weirded me out is they're trying to have some surrounding mystery, or at least from what I've seen, or if they're not going to show the full costume of like, who took over the Black Panther mantle.
Yeah, there's something interesting going on with that frame in the trailer, for a couple reasons. One, understandably so, a lot of people are assuming that that's Shuri donning the costume, but there's no hard evidence in this movie to suggest that. The character that people want to take over, M'Baku, does not have that body shape.
No, he's built like a tank.
Yeah, and this is a more slender design. The person that I personally want, or hope that would be, is Nakia, played by Lupita Nyong'o. I know in the first movie she was like, she rejected the role and wanted to go off and live a life outside of Wakanda, but who knows? Maybe the change in circumstance has has given her like a change of heart.
Well, change in circumstance, and also, but like as the Black Panther, she can live a life outside of Wakanda and help people.
That's true.
So she could still do all of that. And I would like that too, because like having Shuri as the tech person would still be good.
Now something else that has just kind of been in my head. What do you think about the idea of outside of the Dora Milaje, we have Black Panthers sort of not just a singular title, but now they're like a group, like a strike team, something. Kind of like how like you have the army and then you have like Black Ops or like special or like SEAL teams.
I personally myself would not like that, because in my opinion, you have a strike team as one man, and that's the Black Panther.
Fair.
That to me is how it is anyway, because like they've respected that as such a mantle in their culture for so long that they have a ancestral plane to where all the people that have held that mantle go to where it's like, I personally can't see them changing it. Like, they very could, and it would be whatever, but it's like, also the fact that you already have the Doja Mireille, which is personally just like, you have the group that they send in when Black Panther's not dealing with something. So they kind of already have that. Like, people are legit scared. You had a person with a super soldier serum getting his ass whipped by the Doja Mireille. So they can pretty much take care of people. Like, I don't mind it, like, now becoming like a mantle and it's not just T'Challa. That is very much okay with me. I love it being like a passable mantle. So could they do that and they still do a cool idea? Sure.
It all depends on how it's handled. And
yeah,
I trust Coogler and the writers to do this justice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One more thing before we move on. Angela Bassett gives, and I know we're just talking about a teaser trailer, but in like that 15 seconds where she's given like this big passionate monologue, that is like capital A acting.
And yeah, and like, you don't know this, but like in the last Horizon game that came out, there is a character that she voices, and she does an amazing job doing it. It is basically, she is a member of this tribe that felt like she got disrespected. They have this fighting ritual in the Tanakh where you basically challenge and then you fight to the death, but she got spared and she saw it as like a disgrace and she wants to take the clan over. So she's kind of like your Virgil to the Dante, and you have to be with her or like go after her. And just, she was advertised as being in a lot longer, but like, I think a grand total, she has like 20 minutes, but she commands so much presence using just her voice. She has such a powerful voice.
And something I'm looking forward to in this movie is whatever her arc is, because think about everything that she's lost. She lost her husband in Civil War.
Lost her nephew.
Lost her nephew. Lost T'Challa for the 5 years post snap.
Got him back, and then lost him.
Yeah, and there are like some there are some story leaks that are on Reddit regarding this movie, but none of that is confirmed until the movie drops. But
yeah,
they haven't really they have not given away, at least in this trailer, T'Challa's cause of death, which I'm excited but also nervous how that's going to be handled.
Yeah.
I trust Coogler to handle it with grace. Because the reason why the character isn't just being recast is because obviously Boseman put a lot of his energy into bringing this character to life. And because he had such a massive impact on both the audience and the people working in this movie, it wasn't a decision they made lightly to not recast him.
Do you know how much pressure there would be on someone in that recast?
This is literally one of those damn if you do, damn if you don't. I'm seeing a growing movement of people with the hashtag recast T'Challa, and
nope.
On the one hand, I get it. I don't think Chadwick would have wanted this character to be retired forever. However, for this one movie, I think it's fine if we acknowledge his passing and just kind of let both the characters and the cast and crew have their time to mourn this loss.
Yeah, and it's Black Panther can continue going on. It has.
Oh yeah. It doesn't have to be T'Challa as the sole bearer of the mantle. Just like how in other superhero stories, not every generation of hero is alive. So yeah, I understand kind of both perspectives. I'm just really waiting to see how this movie is handled.
Yeah, and it hasn't been delayed.
That's true. So clearly, Feige and company have confidence in this one.
They do. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how all that turns out. All right. So next,
this is the start of Phase 5.
Start of Phase 5, Quantumania. Man, Kang, for the first time in an MCU movie, is showing up in Ant-Man.
This is crazy. We first got introduced to Jonathan Majors playing He Who Remains in the season finale of Loki. Which really just kind of just it's like dipping your toe in the water of Kang. We're introduced to sort of the concept of this character and how there are just many variants.
Yep.
And typically the Ant-Man movies, I've personally really liked them. I think the second one, Ant-Man and the Wasp, is a vast improvement.
As do I.
But even that, as far as scale goes, is more on like the like the Disney family live action kind of action comedy romp compared to some of the more grand stories in the MCU. This compared to Ant-Man and the Wasp is like it's like going from like a puddle to the Pacific Ocean.
It is. And the amount of like importance they've put behind getting Cassie casted is kind of crazy to me, because like they recasted her in Endgame and then they recasted her again for this. So they have importance that they want to get her casting just right.
Yeah. I'm not as familiar with the actress who played her in Endgame.
I'm not either.
And I really couldn't tell you why she's not playing the role here, but as a fan of who they did get, Catherine Newton, I'm excited to see where they take Stature.
I am very much so, because to the people that don't know, I'm a pretty big fan of Supernatural, and she plays Claire Novak for quite a long time and almost got her own spin-off show until the CW decided that they hate money and canceled 3 different Supernatural spin-offs before they greenlit the 4th one. CW will never make sense to me. But yeah, so I'm really happy she got this, because I always liked her as Claire, so I'm glad she's getting something big like this. And yeah, they've got to be angling real soon for a Young Avengers movie.
They have all but confirmed something is happening. Before we get any further, let's talk about briefly what they haven't announced at Comic-Con. Things we haven't heard were the Halloween special, Werewolf by Night,
Armor Wars,
which
the director went out of the way to put on Twitter. BT Dub still happening, actually.
Love it. Armor Wars, the Guardians holiday special, which I don't know why, but the soundtrack of that alone already has my curiosity piqued.
Ridiculous.
I hope it's like nothing but like the weirdest like Christmas music.
Oh yeah, I want it to be just dumb. Just dumb.
What else did they not mention? Oh, they mentioned nothing about X-Men outside of 97, but that's in the animated corner.
And there's leaks that have not been confirmed or even have any substantial proof behind.
Mm-hmm. And then the last thing they didn't mention was Deadpool 3, but I'm 99% confident that is saved for D23.
He did comment on it, though.
Oh, that it's happening?
That it's happening, and that he wants it to be taken as seriously and be shown on as big a stage as something, like he compared it to Deadpool 3 being the Civil War of Deadpool. Like, he wants it to be having that big of an event status. And he said that it's fun playing in Ryan Reynolds' playground or something like that. So he's very much going out of his way to show this is still Ryan Reynolds' movie.
Yeah, no, so the fact that he's talking about it means we're getting an announcement at D23.
Yeah, and it's one of those weird things where it's just like, we're going to let Deadpool get capped off in the way that it is, or somehow Deadpool's going to get zapped into the MCU.
I hope the plot of Deadpool 3 is like a loose adaptation of Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. But it's Deadpool kills the Fox, like
the Fox universe. And then he have you read Deadpool kills the Marvel universe?
I haven't. I've only seen like a couple panels.
So at the end of it, he gets out of the comics and is like in the writer's room and is ready to kill the writers. I would love so much if he kills the remaining not shown Fox universe characters and then jumps out and ends up at Marvel Studios. And then just walks into the MCU somehow.
I would love if he just walked onto a set that's just entirely green screen.
Or like he somehow shows that they're filming the X-Men movie and like that's how you find out.
Oh, that would be so good.
What is going on here? You're not Wolverine. What's this? You don't look like Hugh Jackman. Or like he just walks out into Hugh Jackman's house. Deadpool 3 has to have Wolverine in it.
It has to.
It just has to. Like the closest we got is when they fudged the footage to make it look like he was in the freaking Wolverine in Wolverine Origins, but man, before we get off of Ant-Man, there was this picture of Jonathan Majors in a swimsuit walking into a beach for some reason, and he was just built like a brick shit house, and all the comment underneath it was "Good luck, Ant-Man." Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm quite looking forward to that. Paul Rudd can do no wrong to me. I will watch that man in anything.
Same.
So yeah, it's just great. And Evangeline Lilly is great, and like Catherine Newton, it's gonna be awesome. I just can't, like, 3 different characters using the powers of how they go. That's gonna be something else. I'm quite excited about that. All right.
So this is gonna be February 2023. In
Yes.
May, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Which is the most serious looking logo that they've put out yet.
Yeah. So during like their panel, they described this as a pretty bittersweet experience because for most people involved, especially James Gunn, this is a finale. This is the end of that trilogy for these characters.
Yep.
And I know for a fact that Dave Bautista is like, after this, I'm out.
Yeah.
No more.
If it's not with James, I'm not doing it.
And let me just pull up his age because he's even brought up comments like, I don't want to stay in this shape for forever. He's 53 years old, and I think he said, like, I don't want to be pushing 60 and still having to be in superhero shape.
Yes, he said he's wanted to have some roles where he can have a shirt on. And like when he was like Mr. Hanks in gosh dang it, what was that Bond movie?
Spectre,
like he could still be an imposing figure and like be covered up and not have to look ripped and have like veins popping out everywhere. He's a big stature dude, so we can still play roles like that. And then every now and then, if he wants to bulk up again, like for once every 5 movies, he can. Because like that's just like kind of be back on the thing like where Chris Evans was, and you just don't like to need to be as ridiculously ripped. No one has or should have the commitment that The Rock does to looking like an actual mountain at all points in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to see like little bits of that trailer leaked. You got to see Baby Rocket.
Yeah. Apparently one of the major subplots of this is learning Rocket's origin.
Yeah.
Which is going to be it's probably going to be sweet, but also heartbreaking
terrifying
at the same time.
Because like he had like a near drunken outburst about it in the first movie.
Right.
Yeah. And like Rocket's been the one, I mean, outside of Groot, that hasn't had a big backstory thing happen in any of these movies outside of that drunken outburst. He's just always been there. So, and we have Gamora's solved. Thanos, done. Quill, done. Drax, Thanos, done. Groot is Groot. And it's like, all you got left is Rocket.
Yep.
So.
Also, we're getting Adam Warlock, played by a surprisingly ripped Will Poulter.
That dude is literally a house. Will Poulter, I'm still remembering him from We Are the Millers.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was a stick. He looks like a different person. I never thought in my life I'd be scared of Will Poulter. He could kill me in the shape that he's in.
Seriously.
And again, Adam Warlock, who are we going to cast? Will Poulter. Well, wasn't there also a report that Will Poulter was like almost cast as Pennywise?
He was.
There's a lot of people that see a lot in him, but he doesn't seem to get the chances.
I'm glad that someone for these like big blockbusters is like, yeah, we want you.
Exactly. And it's just, is this going to be the 90s music?
That's a good question.
Because Quill has a Zune now.
Yeah. We're probably gonna hear stuff from the 90s, stuff from like the early 2000s. Who knows? But I trust Gunn to deliver.
Gunn is gonna be the most Gunn that Gunn is ever allowed to be in this, with the still PG-13 rating. So I have a feeling that this thing's gonna be bonkers.
Now, something that he pointed out at the panel was this was the 10th anniversary of the day that he pitched the movie to Marvel Studios, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is literally insane. 10 years ago, we pitched the first Guardians movie. I was 21 when he would have pitched that movie then.
Crazy.
Yeah. I would have just been able to drink. That is crazy. How the MCU is like as old as some people's children. Some people's kids are like in their 20s and were born when the MCU started.
That's nuts to think about.
That makes me feel ancient. Unbelievably ancient. But yeah, they said that this one's going to be a lot more heartfelt and kind of more tear-jerking because, like, again, this is the end of his group. And he did say that this version of the Guardians you won't see again. He never said you won't see the Guardians again.
Right. And that's always something I liked about, something I like about comics in general is it's kind of like the ship of Theseus. Like you can change you can change like all the details, but the shell will still be the same.
Absolutely. And that's another one where you could just have another director, because they're not afraid to do fourth movies if it'll fit something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, if it's not based around a character, you could just say Guardians and have it be whatever. Because there's no specific, like, it's Thor. No, it's Guardians. And the first group of Guardians didn't have Peter Quill in it if we're going to go by comics. So they could have some real weirdos popping up. But, so, now we're getting into some other things going on. Daredevil is officially announced to be back with the kit and caboodle.
Yep.
And it will last 18 episodes. Holy crap.
Now, remind me again when Daredevil Season 3 premiered. I'm looking it up now, and
October 19th, 2018.
Wow. So almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still think Daredevil Season 3 is one of the best single seasons of superhero television.
Yes, and to everyone wondering, yes, they basically did Born Again, the storyline already. This is a metaphor.
Yeah. I think this is an appropriate title for a Disney Plus series because they can still take elements from Born Again for this new series, but really the title is just
Daredevil's home now.
Yeah.
We don't need to fan our stuff out because we have our own place to put all the toys. What is something like, I'm not as familiar with Daredevil as most people. What are some things that have not been in Daredevil that you would like to see? I mean, outside of, the classics like Stiltman.
Good question. I am also not like too terribly familiar with Daredevil. I would defer to our friend and fellow renegade Josh Lozano, who is a big Daredevil fan. Mm-hmm. But some things I would like to see in this new series. I would like to see a mulligan of the hand, because I don't think they were handled that well in the Netflix series.
And Elektra.
Bring
her back. Lodi Young was fine. Just bring her back and do it over.
Yeah. Now this is going to be a very weird comparison, but and I don't know if you saw the 2017 reboot of DuckTales, but what they did that was really cool is like the reboot never really had didn't have like spin-offs or anything, but they brought back like pretty much everyone from the Disney afternoon. Like they have a brief cameo of like the Rescue Rangers,
like Darkwing
Duck. Goofy makes a cameo. There are references to gummy bears.
Oh my god!
They go through all of that, and
they basically did what the Spider-Man animated series did. When all the other ones failed, it's like, guess what? They're coming back. Ah!
So my point in all of this is with 18 episodes, that gives you room to slowly dole out like the rest of the Netflix characters.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like if you want to do like an episode or two of Matt and Jessica on like a mission together, or or say, Daredevil's on like doing a case with like say even Spider-Man, if that's allowed, or Hawkeye.
Well, Kevin Feige point blank said that he wants Daredevil and Spider-Man to be spearheading these street level heroes of the MCU.
Ooh, imagine if they did
that.
Imagine if they did like gang war or whatever that story was.
Oh, by the way, they could very easily do it, because if I'm not mistaken, they said that the Wrecking Crew is going to be in She-Hulk.
Oh,
Hammerhead? Are you kidding me?
Then yes, I totally want to see that now.
You could get Silver Sable and Black Cat in
Please.
that.
Oh, okay. The thing I want most, and again, you just mentioned Spider-Man is like spearheading the street level stuff. Kingpin started off as a Spider-Man villain. Like,
no, Daredevil.
Oh, okay. So he started off as Daredevil
and then went to Spider-Man.
Okay,
that's what happened.
Yeah,
a lot of people get that confused, and I don't blame them, because he was in every Spider-Man everywhere.
Yeah, this is one of those chicken before the egg things.
Yes.
Where like video games and cartoons will always have Kingpin dealing with Spider-Man, but in most traditional live action media, it's like he's Daredevil's Joker, basically.
Yes.
But really, that's what I want to see. I want to see Kingpin. I want to see Spider-Man and Kingpin establishing a hero-villain relationship.
It could, and like having Kingpin at the top rung of the street level heroes, and having his like all the dudes like Tombstone and the Wrecking Crew and like all these guys that you don't need a ton of CGI, but you just have those families in there, like the street level gangs and all this other things. And like you could throw a bunch of people in the Punisher, like with Jigsaw, Barracuda, and like all these just random goobers that would never belong in a movie, but you can put them in these Disney Plus shows.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, again, we're gonna get to it in a bit. Echo is gonna have a show that's
got
Daredevil and Kingpin in it.
Yep, Echo comes out before Daredevil, so and also they've already established the Tracksuit Mafia, which they didn't get like disbanded or anything in Hawkeye, did they?
No, I don't believe so. I think they just got embarrassed.
Okay, good. So, like, you have all the stuff. Like, it's been a minute since we finished the series, but just thinking back on it, Hawkeye was a great introduction to street level shenanigans in the MCU. And I'm pretty sure Jeremy Renner is, if not completely done, then certainly on his way out with the MCU. So we probably won't see him in this much longer. But
we didn't give Kate as much shine as she did to have Jeremy stay around for too much longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, between Hawkeye, Echo, and now Daredevil, we have a very rock solid foundation for street level superheroes.
Yeah, we're
also She-Hulk, if you want to count that too.
Yeah, because she's going to be dealing with a lot of the logistical horseshit that's going to follow having them dealing with it. And plus, at all times, you're going to have damage control.
Yep.
You can always have them kicking around too. People somehow, like, if you have not read comics, if you hijack a car in New York, you have a chance of dealing with anyone from Reed Richards to Ghost Rider. New York is basically populated by everyone other than 20% of Marvel Comics.
Basically, yeah.
And that's anyone that resides on Earth. New York is fully plump of heroes. All right. And then one that is shocking me that it's only going to be a Marvel series, but then again, we have the big dogs that we're going to get to at the end here. Secret Invasion, which got slightly set up at the end of not No Way Home, Far From Home.
Yep.
And then lightly never touched again.
That's interesting because Far From Home was obviously a Sony film because it was Spider-Man. But it's interesting how that's kind of how we see where Fury has been all this time.
Yeah. Like with Sword, just out there.
Yep.
Chilling on a hologram beach.
What has me curious about Secret Invasion is Captain Marvel has given the Skrulls a face turn. So, and they're to my understanding, they're the ones who are like the main antagonists of the story in the comics.
They are. And a big deal with Secret Invasion and the Skrulls coming in is Fantastic Four also. And I don't know if they're going to do that because Super Skrull is something they make that just has all the powers of all the Fantastic Four. So I don't know how they're going to...
That'll be interesting.
But it's called Secret Invasion because the Skrulls have the ability to shapeshift. So that's why it was like that. But like now in this continuity, the Kree are the dickbags and the Skrulls are the good ones. So if we're going to have a thing where there's good and bad Skrulls.
And that that explains what I've heard about the trailer, which is like apparently this is like one of the darkest things that that the MCU has put out.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting. Everything I've heard about the trailer kind of reminds me of the tone set in, at the very least, the first half of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is more like the, paranoid spy thriller.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm one of those people that I've never, as long as I can live, everyone bitches, moans, and complains that they can't understand Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. I've never had issues.
Me
Ever.
neither.
He's hilarious. I am so happy we were getting more of Ben Mendelsohn as Talos.
Same.
He's awesome. Just the little bit of him interacting with him in the house is you really get more sugar. It's just like on that drink. Or now he talks about how he has to call Nick Fury because he's screwed up. Like dealing with Peter, and it's just like he's great. He's so good, and he needs to be in more stuff. And if we're gonna do Secret Invasion, and the thing we're gonna talk about later, you kind of need to have a heavy Kree or a Skrull presence.
And what's cool? What else is cool about the show is we basically have like all of like the either Shield or like government agents. Like Maria Hill is back. Martin Freeman is back as Everett Ross. Don Cheadle is back as Rhodey.
Yes.
And I'm sure at D23 we'll hear a little bit more about where Armor Wars takes place.
Yeah, because that's got to be like, because we'll get to it later. There was another suit-oriented hero that got finally a release date or more info on their thing coming.
Oh yeah,
so we'll get there.
Yep.
But it's like you gotta imagine part of that has to deal with Armor Wars. And then
it has to.
It has to. And it's like, is Rhodey going to be the main guy in Armor Wars? Like, that's got to be his series.
Hold on. Before we get any further, I think we forgot to mention that Riri Williams will appear in Wakanda Forever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's in the trailer. You see her like kind of creating her own iron suit.
That is true. I've only seen the trailer once, so yeah, okay, that makes sense. I didn't think about that.
Man, so yeah,
there's so much going on in that movie.
so this is spring 2023. I believe the next thing on the menu is the Marvels.
No.
Oh no, next is Echo.
Summer, yeah, which again, we basically know what's going on. She heads back to her hometown, and trouble is sure to follow. So we don't know a whole ton about Echo, but I'm just happy. Then July 28th.
Yeah, then we got the Marvels, which comes out July 28th, 2023. And we have seen a little bit of it at the end of Miss Marvel, where Kamala is transported somewhere.
His body is body changed, or I shouldn't say transplaced, because they don't swap bodies, they just switch.
Yeah,
out.
it's a palette swap.
Yeah, and it's the most weird thing where it's kind of just like, oh no, where am I? And it's just we get no explanation of where Kamala is. So yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I know so little about this movie, and that excites me.
Same. Right now, like the two things that this movie has going for it are the director Nia DaCosta, who directed the Candyman reboot last year, which was a movie I really enjoyed. And also, this is like pretty much a mini supergroup between Danvers, Photon, Monica Rambeau, and now Kamala Khan.
Which you gotta wonder who and what they're fighting, because if anyone remembers Endgame, Carol's one scary bitch on her own, and you add Photon and Miss Marvel into there, that's gonna be some stuff happening.
I'm not sure how exactly this may play out, but something that I have wanted to see for a while, ever since like it became official that the X-Men are now an option.
Rogue.
Yeah.
Me too.
So for those who don't know, Rogue got her powers. Well, Rogue's mutation. Yeah, Rogue's mutant abilities is that like she will like she'll take the powers from whoever she touches, or anything she touches just dies.
Yeah, and like prolonged experience can kill someone, and then they were fighting. I don't remember the exact situation that leads to it, but she wasn't originally able to fly and didn't have super strength as like a base set. She just was able to steal people's powers. And then she gets in a fight with Miss Marvel to where she hangs on to her for too long that she permanently takes the ability of super strength and flight. But somehow Carol, she more or less copied super strength and
flight
from her. So she had that. And yeah, if the absolute balls, if they pull a Reed Richards style cameo where they first show off Rogue in that movie,
I
don't think that will happen, but the balls that it would take.
Here's the thing. They have given us zero clues as to like what the story is.
Yep.
So it is entirely possible that the plan to introduce mutants in the MCU is not to make like a big splash about it, but to like slowly kind of introduce the concept. They've already done that with they have done that as early as Falcon and the Winter Soldier when they introduced Madripoor.
Oh, yeah, I was going to be like, what the hell? Mutants showed up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh, yeah, Madripoor. Yeah.
Yep. And then, obviously, Patrick Stewart showed up in Multiverse of Madness. And then Kamala is a mutant.
And
so
humans are nowhere to be heard from.
in human what?
Sorry, what was that? No one says that word or I'm going to kill you?
But I honestly think this is the way they do it. Just like slowly introduce the concept, and then like once audiences are like kind of settled in, then you could be like, oh, by the way, mutants.
I have to bring up a story. I was very fortunate a year before he passed that I got to meet Stan Lee and that I got to attend a panel of his. Him talking about it, working with his publisher before he was more up at Marvel, was fantastic. And hearing him talk about how when he pitched the X-Men, where he originally pitched them to be called the Mutants, and he went into his manager's office, and his manager's like, Stan, no one's going to read that. And he's always like, why? Why won't it work? And he's just like, well, you can't call them mutants because no one knows what a mutant is. So then Stan walked out, went back to his office, and he's getting through this. He's like, all right, I got an idea, whatever. He goes back to his office. He's like, okay, what if we call them the X-Men? He's like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. I guess we can run with that. And he gets back to his office and he thinks to himself, wait, if no one knows what a mutant is, how the hell are they going to know what an X-Man is? And then like another one was like talking about Spider-Man, where he's like, you can't call him Spider-Man because everyone hates spiders. And then Stan in the interview was like, how do you explain Batman? Everyone hates bats.
He's got a point.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do that because they're coming. And that's another thing where it's like they didn't spend all this money to all of a sudden go, yeah, we're not going to talk about mutants anymore.
Nope.
They're going to be coming. They're going to be coming hard. They're going to be coming fast. And another thing that hasn't been talked about but has been confirmed for so damn long is Loki season 2.
Yep. I'm not sure exactly what they plan to do for season 2, other than maybe maybe use this season to like further exposit about like the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the floodgates are open
everywhere.
What I really liked about season 1 is, well, Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston just kind of, eating lunch and waxing poetically.
Yes, their office work shenanigans
mixed with like time travel.
Yes. One thing I will ask is, it kind of bothered me and kind of didn't. Don't do another the Infinity Stones are paperweights type thing in this one. Have a little bit of gravity to some of those things. Like, I get it in the grand scheme of things. You guys control how the events of the world work. That one was a bit much for me.
I kind of want to see more chaos.
Well, I think it's going to happen because he literally just reset all the work that Loki did. So he's going to have to literally dismantle the TVA again.
Yep. Only this time, dismantle Kang's version.
Oh. Kang's version, yeah. But, yeah, because, like, and they're going to have to get all the way through all the stuff they were doing and then to figure out, again, how it happened. And you could have more versions of Loki again.
Oh, yeah.
And, but, one small request. Let Mobius ride a jet ski.
Yes.
Just let him have it, please. The man doesn't ask for much.
Just one jet ski.
Just one jet ski ride. If it's going to be the last season of Loki you do, let him be happy at the end with a jet ski.
Yes.
And then, yeah, it's just like you could do whatever you want as long as in the grand scheme of things it doesn't affect anything else. And like Tom Hiddleston's seeming like he's having a time of his life doing this.
I think the only other thing they confirmed is that Miss Minutes will return.
Oh, of course.
Like you can't
Tara Strong.
Yeah, you can't do Loki without Miss Minutes.
Like you had Miss Minutes opening the Marvel panel. They're so fully aware of how much people love Miss Minutes. Like such a heavily tied DC voice person is now voicing one of the most popular animated things in all of Marvel. Tara Strong's got it made.
She does.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know what it's going to do, but it's like we're going to be dealing a lot with Kang, so we got to have a lot of, on all fronts, people dealing with it. So Loki's going to be another part of it.
Yeah, so between Quantumania and Loki Season 2, we're probably going to be pretty primed on the end of Phase 6 that we'll get to shortly.
Then we have something we legit don't know anything about outside of Mahershala Ali.
Blade.
And how ridiculous. It's been known for 3 years.
This movie doesn't even have a Wikipedia page on its own yet, which I find just kind of hilarious. Because Mahershala Ali was first announced, I think, at the
at the panel.
Yeah, at 2019 San Diego Comic-Con. Kevin, he does his usual thing where like the panel's about to wrap up and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, one more thing. Blade, come here."
Yeah, and he just walks out and he just has the hat and the logo ready. Fresh off of winning an Academy Award.
His second Academy
Award. Mahershala Ali calls up Kevin Feige. By the way, I want to play Blade. You take that phone call.
That is not a call you say no to.
Even if you didn't have Blade in your plans, you put them in there. You do not get castings like that. You don't even know if they would have tried to get him in, and he comes to you. That's insane. But I'll tell you, if you have him in a cameo before Blade comes out, Marvel, the dumbest on-screen introduction you've ever done for a character has been Blade.
A voice cameo in a post-credit scene for Eternals.
That no one knew. Everyone had to look that up.
I think I'm the only one who only took a shot in the dark guess, like coming out of the theater.
It's like, just because his name is Blade doesn't mean he knows about every sword that's ever been done. Don't have that be his thing.
Oh no, that they wouldn't be that dumb.
Just because the Ebony Blade is there, we're like, oh, we got a guy named Blade, he's got swords. Don't do that. You can have him being Black Knight's buddy, but don't just be like, I'm the guy that knows about swords. Not, oh yeah, it might be the signals going in and out, but we're good. That just might be a slow signal. I got a buddy in the next room, Monica. It's all good. But so we get yeah, we're getting a Blade movie.
Remember how I said before how one of the things they didn't announce was Werewolf by Night?
Yeah.
I still think we might get a Blade cameo or Mahershala Ali's like a minor supporting role.
Yeah, it's we're gonna have to wait to see to what the hell they're actually doing with that thing before we find out what's going on, because that is such an oddball thing that you're just like, we're doing it. And by the way, there's a QR code in that wall in Moon Knight.
Yep,
like it's so weird. Like, yeah, but and man, that logo just looks so good.
I love that logo.
But yeah, and then going on to, again, like we said, oh boy, is Young Avengers coming, Ironheart.
Yep. I gotta say, I'm actually really happy that that Riri Williams is getting introduced in Wakanda Forever. Not necessarily because she has to, but it's always nice to start to introduce characters like sooner rather than later, just so like audiences are used to seeing them around.
Yeah,
that's always what I liked about how the MCU handled things. Like Hawkeye didn't need to be in Thor, but it was nice that he was there.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a lot of pressure on this girl. You're taking over for RDJ.
Yeah, that's no easy feat.
Yeah, and that's going to be like, she's not meant to be Iron Man again. And that's going to take a lot of pissy, judgmental people to get over their own shit to realize she's not supposed to just be a female version of Iron Man. She's her own character.
Exactly. And apparently Ryan Coogler is a producer on this show too.
Then I've got a lot more faith in it. I can tell you that right now. Not that I didn't have faith, but if Ryan's going to be helping produce it, I'm happy.
Now it makes even more sense why she would show up in Wakanda Forever.
Absolutely. That makes a ton of sense.
So the actress who plays the character, her name is Dominique Thorne. Nice. And some of the other people who are in the supporting cast, you've got Anthony Ramos, Harper Anthony, Manny Montana, Alden Ehrenreich, who is coming back to Disney after the unfortunate underperformer that was Solo, which I still contend is a good movie that just got the short end of the stick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens,
but yeah, I'm looking forward to Ironheart. It's coming out sometime next year. We don't know when.
Fall of exactly. 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of I think what's really smart about how they announced the TV shows versus the movies, like the movies all kind of have set release dates, which even those aren't permanent. But what I like about the TV shows is that they kept things vague enough that if shows need to be either moved up or pushed back, it's all fluid.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be fun because like this and Armor Wars are both going to be armor centered things, so it's going to be weird to see how they differentiate them, but yeah, that'll be cool. And then one that I didn't think was going to get her own thing, but like everyone loved her. So yeah, we're getting an Agatha series.
Agatha, Coven of Chaos.
I cannot even try to imagine what the hell this is going to be about.
I'm just going to guess that it may or may not take place in like during like the Salem witch trials, or maybe they haven't really given like plot details, but Coven of Chaos is such an awesome subtitle that
it is.
I'm honestly down to see anything that they throw at us.
If it is an origin story, that would be very great. I would like that a lot.
We haven't really talked much about Dr. Doom in great detail, but because he dabbles in sorcery, this would be another
Wait,
place.
you mean to tell me that he doesn't just have like electricity powers or like the ability to pop people's heads because he has green glowy energy? I thought that's what his powers were. What you mean to tell me he's one of the most badass and important characters in all of Marvel Comics and has a lot of shit going on?
And this show could probably tell us more about his family.
Yes.
Like this is the kind of stuff that I'm excited about, where like you get, like, when it comes to the Fantastic Four and mutants, like you don't have to bust the doors right open with X-Men and Fantastic Four, which we'll get to in a minute. But like, even there are rumors floating around that Doom shows up in a post-credit scene at the end of Wakanda Forever.
Mm-hmm.
So that covers the political side of Latveria.
Mm-hmm.
And then this may dive into the sorcery, if like, say, an old relative of his shows up, or
just him.
Yeah, like a baby Victor.
Well, it's like there's been Marvel Comics where he sends himself back in time to learn more things.
Oh, or to teach himself.
Yeah, like he sends his entire like being back to just live through time again. Doom's done some stupid shit to make himself even more badass. So yeah, it would be great to see what the hell they do, because the bar for a good Doom's pretty low.
Yeah, you there's really only one way to go, and that's up.
Yes. And then
but yeah, getting back to Agatha, I am very interested to see how they handle this.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I know nothing. They showed nothing. They just said it's happening, which it already kind of hinted at happening. So, yeah. And then the next one, I have to get something out of the way. Stupid people, shut up. Completely shut up. You are, excuse my language, fucking stupid. Literally fucking stupid. This is not an anti-Semitic title. Shut up. God, you're dumb. You are either unbelievably stupid or just trying to start shit. They are not purposely going to make an anti-Semitic Captain America movie. The New World Order is literally a storyline and also a faction in WCW wrestling back in the 90s. Believe it or not, the term New World Order has existed outside of that period of time. Stop just trying to make crap up.
Also, I'm going to say this as clear as possible. Sam Wilson is Captain America.
Everyone and their mother and father and Uncle Jerry that goes, he's not Captain America. He didn't take the super soldier serum, so he can't be. How well did that work out for John Walker? He's Captain America. Kind of seemed like a douchebag. He took the serum. If you think that the thing that makes Captain America is that serum, you have missed the point by a area code's worth of mileage. You're so far off. Chris Evans has said it. Everyone has said it. Sam is Captain America.
Steve Rogers was Captain America before he took the serum.
Yes. There's a reason why they go out of their way to say that the serum made the Red Skull, but then made Steve Rogers who he was. It's the person. And that's why they gave it to Steve, because he was a good person. He is a representation of a character that wants good things and stands up for the right things. Shut up. You're either missing the point or on the other end, you're racist. Either way, either do research, or if you're on the other end and you're racist, shut your mouth. No one cares about your opinion. It's not needed.
Now, with all that said, I'm going to be talking about mutants a lot in this episode because something else that the MCU, well, Phase 4 at the very least, has established is not everyone gets treated equally.
No.
I mean, that is literally the case in the real world, but that narratively that sets like the template for how mutants are going to be treated in this world.
Exactly.
Like if people are not happy about the idea of like a black Captain America, what makes you think they're going to like whatever the hell mutants are?
Yeah. Have any of you looked outside recently? In, I don't know, the past 10 years?
Give or take.
No one likes anything that's outside of the normal. No one does. No one can tolerate it. I myself am a white male Christian, and you don't see me exploding at all this stuff. The difference is not your background. The difference is not your religion. The difference is you and how you deal with things. And people don't know how to deal with things. And that is going to be a lot of what this new focus for stuff is, because it's not too far off from how things are happening now.
Exactly.
And that frightens me that comic book accurate things like this are not too far off from what we're actually seeing. And there's like, people aren't that weird about their, like, does everyone forget 2 years ago where people stormed the Capitol with fully automatic weapons because they couldn't get haircuts? That happened, people. It happened. So whatever they're going to bring forward with this, you can't tell me that it's not realistic.
Yeah. This movie, for better or for worse, is going to start all the conversations.
And I'm glad. Because it's going to expose how people really feel about things real quick. And it's going to bring out people's ugly sides that they've tried to say they don't have really fast.
Yep.
I'm not that way. I'm not whatever. I'm like, then why are you talking the way that you are?
I think my least favorite sentence starter is, I'm not X, but.
Yes, if there's always a but, it's whatever. Conversations can be had. Middle grounds can be found. But if it starts out with, I'm not racist, but why does Captain America have to be black? If statements like that are what you're coming to the thing with, just rethink every life decision you've made up until the point that made you think that that has to be a statement that you have to say, and then go away for a while.
Yep.
But is a weird word. Sometimes even, you make a really good point, Monica. People just can't deal with change, period. Now, there's a difference where change is dumb and represented in dumb ways. I thought Hydra Captain America was incredibly stupid. Was it a change and they tried something and I'm happy? Yes. Did it lead to a really good scene in Endgame? Yes. But I didn't think it was needed. And a conversation can be had there. Yeah. All right. So, and a thing that if it was going to be something, I didn't know how they were going to handle it. And especially considering how it was being set up in the shows, I thought this was going to be a TV show.
Honestly, same. But maybe okay, Thunderbolts. There are actually two different versions, to my understanding, of Thunderbolts. One is a team led by Baron von Zemo, which is like, I guess they were like they were like con artists who were like kind of tricking the government into thinking they were the good guys in order to get like government access to things. And then I guess the more recent Thunderbolts is more or less Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, led by Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross.
Which I'm going to assume, because the MCU likes to keep things fresh and current, they're going to adapt that version.
And I think it would make more sense to do that version. Because they're basically face-turning Zemo to a degree.
Yep.
So to backpedal on that fast would be kind of weird. So, yeah.
Now we've already seen. I forget what Louis Dreyfus's character's name is.
It's stupid long for a reason. It's Valentina something.
Yeah, Valentina Contessa, I think.
Something, but yeah, she's kind of acting like the gatherer of the Thunderbolts for whoever's going to be leading them. Because I don't think she's going to be leading them. She just kind of seems like the scout.
Yeah, she's like the I don't want to say the evil Phil Coulson, but we'll call her the morally gray Phil Coulson.
Yeah, she believes what she's doing is correct.
Now, we mentioned it earlier, but do you think that we'll see Thunderbolt Ross in this?
I'd be happy if he was, and I'd be really happy if it was Ed Harris.
Same.
But I think we will. I think that was in the plans. Like, you kept Ross around for a while, even after he was no longer direct. He didn't give two craps about the Hulk after his Hulk movie. He was more of an enemy of Stark, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then anything to do with the Avengers. So, like, him coming up with his own solution for dealing with problems that's not the Avengers would have made a lot of sense. So, yeah. And, like, this gives you an excuse to put the Red Hulk on screen.
Ooh, wait. If it's not Ed Harris, I thought of another one. Titus Welver.
Who is that?
You have probably seen him before. Let me just pull up his Wikipedia. He was Jimmy O'Fallon in Sons of Anarchy. He was the Man in Black in Lost. What else was he in?
Oh, I haven't seen Lost or Sons of Anarchy.
He's been in a lot of Ben Affleck's films.
Okay.
He was in Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Oh boy, then I unfortunately have seen him somewhere. Because I had to see that movie because I hate myself.
Yeah, so like I'm sure you've seen him somewhere before.
Man, you know who could be a great Thunderbolt Ross?
Who?
I can't think of his name now though, but he's a guy who I wanted to play. I wanted to play Wade Wilson. He was in Avatar. What's his name?
Oh, Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang.
Oh, wait, you wanted him to be Cable.
I wanted him to be Wade Wilson, then I wanted him to be Cable, and now I wouldn't mind him being Thunderbolt Ross. I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, and any one of these possible recasts would be great. I just think we need someone to be in this movie, because not that you need Thunderbolt Ross to be in Thunderbolts, but
come on,
like you have the name, you have the team, you might as well.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's good.
And Thunderbolts concludes Phase 5. Now, yes. What kicks off Phase 6 is Fantastic Four.
Finally, a Marvel Fantastic Four.
So here's what we know. Kind of, this is not going to be an origin story. Now that can mean a whole bunch of options.
Yeah.
Option number one is kind of like what they did in The Incredible Hulk. They'll have like an opening montage that shows them going to space, going to the negative zone, getting their powers, yada yada yada. Another option, because outside of Kang, we still don't know too much about Quantumania. So maybe the Fantastic Four in the MCU are like stuck in the quantum zone as opposed to the negative zone.
Maybe. It'd be kind of nuts if we got the negative zone also. They've not been scared to just put everything in.
True.
At this point. So
like I even remember as far back as Age of Ultron when Maria Hill was describing Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, she's just like, he's fast, she does magic.
She does magic, exactly. It's just like, there's a word that could describe these two, but I don't know what it is. They have a mutation of some kind.
Now I have to ask, do you think that Krasinski is the MCU's Reed Richards?
I don't know, but I'd be really happy if he was.
I only ask because what I've noticed with all these like promotions for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, they've like shown all of the other members of the Illuminati, but they keep leaving out Reed Richards, even though like everyone's kind of already seen the movie. They're still not like showing him in a promotion.
Well, he was the biggest surprise out of all of them, though. Also,
true.
And like they shoot Professor X, but I can guarantee you that they're not going to make Patrick Stewart the permanent Professor X.
Yeah, especially because he's like getting up there in age.
Exactly, he can't do it for long. So it's just like, if it was for not showing him, for not casting him, they wouldn't show Xavier anymore.
True. I'm curious how old he is.
He's got to be at least in his late 70s.
Oh, I was talking about Krasinski. He's only 42.
Okay, then yeah, and he takes very good care of himself.
Yeah,
and like he doesn't have his show going on Amazon anymore.
Right. And also when Robert Downey Jr. was cast as Iron Man, I think he was already like pushing 50. So
yep.
age is not really a factor.
And especially for him, because let's be real, he's not going to have to do a whole lot.
That's true.
he's going to be a lot of CGI.
Yep.
So, and like, here's a better question. Are him and Sue going to have kids?
Oh, well, they kind of have to, don't they?
They say they have kids in the other dimension. So now are we going to see the walking atomic apocalypse that is Nathaniel Richards just...
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, another version of Kang is Nathaniel Richards.
Mm-hmm. And what about Franklin?
Or no, I'm sorry, I messed it up. Franklin. I mean, Franklin Richards is the walking atomic apocalypse, makes his own freaking universes out of.
You're actually right. Nathan Richards is a version of Kang, but Franklin is
he's technically a mutant, also, isn't he?
Franklin is an immensely powerful being with vast reality manipulating psionic powers beyond Omega level mutants.
Yes,
despite not being a mutant himself.
Okay, all right. They just put him in the classic level of like he's stupid powerful. Literally just creates cosmos is when he's bored. Levels of powerful. That's insane. Or like, I want to wait for some joke where there's just like, you guys have kids? Nah. Can you imagine what they'd end up like if we had kids? We wouldn't know what to do with them. So yeah, you've got to wonder how they're going to deal with that. I want who I want. I want Alan Ritchson to be the Thing.
Yeah, that's one. That's one. What about the Human Torch?
Joe Keery.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I want it so bad. I want that kid to get a giant break. And I think he'd be awesome as the Thing. I mean, sorry, as Johnny. There's no one else in my head currently.
He would make a good Johnny Storm.
He'd be great. He already knows how to play a playboy, and like depending on what they make the age, like what they make the ages or how they deal with it, it's just I don't know. But I think Joe would be really great. Anyone who they pick could work.
Mm-hmm.
It's how they want to do it. But Alan Ritchson is already like if they just make him the Thing and like make him already built already and like and he's gonna be CGI a lot, so doesn't have to do whatever. But like he's already proven that he can do good work with CGI with everything what he did with Turtles when he was Raph.
Oh, and yeah.
So and he's got a good voice for like him saying his clobber in time to me.
I can already kind of picture it.
Now, because it is not going to be Emily Blunt, who do you want to be Invisible Woman?
Ooh, good question. What about Kerry Washington?
Kerry Washington could be all right. One that I've liked and I want to see get an important role in the MCU, but it pisses me off that she didn't get the one that I wanted because I wanted this woman to be Carol, is Natalie Dormer.
Ooh. I thought for a second you were going to say Catherine Winnick.
It wouldn't be a bad shout either, but I want Nat. I'm, for many reasons, a fan of Natalie Dormer. But,
I get it, man. I get
it. But yeah, I would like her to get a big role, honestly, because in my opinion, that was picture perfect for her to be Captain Marvel. I have no objections against Brie Larson, but just when I saw the comic drawings of Carol, it was just always Natalie to me. But like her as Sue, I think would be a pretty good shout.
Mm-hmm.
Because like she's shockingly older than what people think she is.
Yeah, she's 40 now.
Yeah, she looks so good for her age. She looks like she's in her 20s.
She does.
It's insane. But yeah, and she's so damn talented. And it's just like anyone can do whatever. I'm not going to be upset if they even race swap these characters. I really wouldn't. I was not upset when they did with Johnny. in my opinion, Michael B. Jordan was perfect for him.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best one that showed up. And the fact that they made them step-siblings didn't ruin it at all. The fact that that movie turned into absolute just poop soup was because of how it was handled. It was not Johnny's fault. Or it was not Michael's fault. But yeah, I guess whatever they want to do.
Yeah, the only reason I suggested someone like Kerry Washington for Sue is we have Kang, so
that is very true.
Yeah, so if you want to maintain a little bit of continuity, it is good to have an interracial family.
Man, he's too old at this point to do it. But picturing Denzel Washington
as Reed Richards
is pretty tasty. But he's way too old.
Damn that. 20 years ago that would have been perfect. Now I think it's out of the question.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately. But yeah, well, however they do it is fine. But yeah, for as far as that, unless they just say that like his variant is black or whatever they do, which whatever they want. It's whatever they want to do because, like, for crying out loud, you have a white Loki and a Loki that's a crocodile. So you can do whatever you want.
True.
Yeah, so it's however they want to do it. It's fine.
So we have 2 films left, and they're heavy hitters.
And we have a director for one.
And only one.
Daniel, or what's his name? Destin Cretton. What's his name?
Destin Daniel Cretton.
Destin Daniel Cretton. I was gonna say Daniel Destin Cretton. That's what it is. It's Destin Daniel Cretton.
He is directing Avengers: The Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
And then Secret Wars literally comes out like 4 to 5 months after. Actually, wait, May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months. 6 months after Kang Dynasty.
Avengers films in a half a year.
That is insane.
And how big of titles of those are? That's like having Infinity War and Endgame come out within a half a year of each other.
Yep.
And the last one is Secret Wars.
Now, again, we've been talking about Doom for a minute. So I'm assuming he's like the second big bad of the multiverse saga. Like you got Kang messing with time and all these different variants, while Doom is like, you know, I'm gonna mess you up here.
Yeah, I'm going to be waiting in the wings for me to have my time in the sun, and I'm going to wait until you screw up, and then it's my turn.
Yeah, because we said that he's like, you know, he's got political power, ruling Latveria. He knows sorcery, and he's probably one of the scariest villains in all of comic books, really.
He is. People don't realize that they've only had the exposure from some video games and the not great movies, just how big of an actual deal Doom is to be when he's essentially, in reality, the Fantastic Four's main villain. Doom's a big deal. Doom is borderlining the Darth Vader of this Marvel universe.
Yep. And that's why it frustrates me when every first Fantastic Four movie makes the same mistake every single time.
He should be your third movie's villain.
Exactly.
You have other people to go to. Give or take the Fantastic Four have some dumb villains like Mole Man. Like, you build towards these things. They had Doctor Doom for their first movie, and their second movie was Galactus.
Nope, wrong.
Galactus is your sixth movie if you're doing just Fantastic Four movies. And even that's pushing it.
Like, he can still be in the Fantastic Four movie, but like he's like up in a tower watching, waiting, doing his thing.
He's ever boding in the shadows. He needs to be treated as a big deal. Because you know how Loki was the guy that started out as a main things villain and then just stayed throughout everything. You can get that ×5 with Doctor Doom.
Which brings me to another kind of frustration with comic book movies in general. I get why they do it for like for casual audiences, but I really don't like this trend of a villain showing up for one movie and then they get killed off.
I get that, but also, if I'm being honest, in the MCU, they've killed off ones that they're not going to do things with later.
Fair.
I mean, like Ironmonger, the Wasp, or I mean, not Wasp, a Yellow Jacket.
So like the more disposable ones.
Yeah, like they kept Abomination, they kept Loki. I mean, there's some where they could have done more with, like Ronan the Accuser. They could have done more with because he's a big deal with the Kree. There's some they could have done with, but it's like, I get that they've done that, but that's one to me where I think they get a little bit too overbashed with.
Fair.
I mean, and like that opinion's totally objective. If you feel that way, I'm not going to say you're not doing that, but just to me, I think it gets, in the grand scheme of things, if we actually look back on the list of things that they've killed off, one of them could have been like Ego, could have been a thing they could have kept around, but like they tied him to Quill, so it made sense to kill him off.
I guess maybe the problem is like we're getting too many of those disposable villains in a row.
There you go. Yeah, I get you there. Okay, I can agree with that completely.
And I understand that, like, in a sense, because before the merger, Disney didn't have direct access to Doom and the Brotherhood of Evil, or Super Skrull, or like any of the like the heavy hitters, or like even Galactus was kind of off limits.
Okay, so I don't know why this just hit me. I don't know why the dude was just in my head. But I know who I want as Dr. Doom, and I don't want it to be anyone else.
Who?
I want it to be Anthony Starr.
Oh my god. That's it's typecast, but it's also not.
It's kind of unbelievably good to go with, because there's a little bit of Homelander in there, but it's a very different version of what he's going with Homelander. Because you need someone that's presence itself is terrifying.
And okay, for this hypothetical Doom, do we see what's under the mask or no?
I want it to be when he's by himself. That every now and then you might get like a Phantom of the Opera sliver of his face. If not, I'd be perfectly okay if he never took the mask off.
Same.
But it's like, if you do have him take the mask off, there are few people on this planet that have the Jim Carrey rubber face able to make the most ridiculous facial expressions, or the most cold, I'm going to murder you in 2 seconds if you do not stop talking, that Anthony Starr can do.
God, now that you put that in my brain, I cannot allow anyone else to play.
It's like there's 2 roles he needs to do. One is Albert Wesker, and the other is Doctor Doom. Like, there's rumors that he's going to be Sebastian Shaw in a X-Men property. That he's rumors. Again, we're talking comicbook.com or Screen Rant levels of rumors. But like, please let him be Doctor Doom. Please.
I'll take either one of those. I was also thinking he could be a Mr. Sinister.
Ooh.
Because that's another character we haven't been properly introduced to yet.
That is true. Just whoever he plays, keep him around. Sean Roberts. Who is Sean Roberts? Why can't I think of Sean Roberts? Monica's suggesting Sean Roberts for Doctor Doom. I can't think of who that is.
Sean Roberts.
Sean Roberts. Sean Roberts. He's known as Dire the Dead and the Resident Evil franchise. Who the heck was he? Oh, okay.
He was Wesker in.
So the guy who played Wesker instead of the guy who I want to play Wesker. You know who else he played? Holy crap! This just showed up on his top roles when you go on Google for his IMDb. There is Pretty Hard Cases, Mark Tremblay, or he was also Rogue's boyfriend in the first X-Men film.
I love that as a credit.
He gets to be almost killed in the first scene of an X-Men movie from Mackin' with Rogue. He could be okay. I mean, I would like him more than what he did in Resident Evil, but I just want Anthony Starr now. I cannot not see Anthony Starr.
So yeah, we've kind of fan casted the Fantastic Four. We have begged Marvel for like 2 minutes to please give us Anthony Starr as Doom.
Yeah.
Now a couple more questions before we wrap this up. One is, what do you think is next after the Multiverse Saga? Do you think it could be
space? Everything space related. Galactus will be the last thing, but literally everything space related.
Okay. And the other question I have. Okay. The other question I have is, so for the X-Men, if it's not going to be Patrick Stewart or Ian McKellen for like Professor X and Magneto, who would you want if it's not even Fassbender or McAvoy? Who would you want as?
You know, I said that Denzel Washington is too old to play Reed Richards. He is not too old to play Professor X.
Yeah.
Or even yeah.
Like Giancarlo Esposito has been rumored to be everyone from like Magneto to Norman Osborn. I would.
Starr would be really good as Norman Osborn too.
Wait, who?
Anthony Starr would be really good as Norman Osborn too.
Shit, you're right.
But
anyway, I was gonna say as a break from playing villains, I think Esposito would be a good Professor Xavier.
All right. I haven't really. I'm trying to get to the point of where I'm just like, I want to be surprised when they just do it out, and I don't even want to think about people. The X-Men are so ingrained over these years of that crew that I just want to be like, oh, that's who it is.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. the difference between like the MCU original cast and whoever is playing like these legacy characters from other universes is recasting has got to be one of the hardest jobs for the casting directors.
Because they've got a big example of what worked in the past, and they have to realize even if the storylines weren't good, those characters were casted well. So yeah.
One final question. Out of everything we talked about, what would you say are like your top? I'll say top 3 upcoming MCU projects.
Blade, Fantastic Four, obviously, because I just want a good Fantastic Four movie. I need it in my life more than I need air. And then it'd be cheating to say that they're Deadpool movies, so I'm not going to say that. Oh man, honestly, so Fantastic Four, Blade. I am perversely, like, to a weird degree, interested in whatever this third Ant-Man movie is going to be.
All right.
So yeah.
If we're just talking about the movies, mine would be Blade, then Avengers Kang Dynasty, and number 3, The Marvels. Just because, well, mostly because I'm still riding the high of Miss Marvel, but also like the pieces, despite what we don't know, the pieces for that movie are really coming together nicely. And I really want to see more from that going forward. Now for TV shows, I think number 1 is like number 1 above literally everything else is Daredevil.
Yeah.
Number 2 is, I have to say, Secret Invasion, based on what I've heard. And number 3 has got to be She-Hulk. Like, I know it's coming pretty soon, and it's probably going to mean a lot for the street level heroes of the MCU, and I'm just really curious to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, for as far as the TV shows, it's Daredevil, and then because doesn't have a release date yet, but because it's my biggest chance of seeing Sam Rockwell again, it's Armor Wars.
I really hope he's in it
because I want him back. He was the best thing about Iron Man 2, and he is trapped in that film. And then it's She-Hulk, because there's so many possibilities for just random shenanigans to happen in that. We're not going to get the one thing everyone wants, which is the building breaking whatever that happens between her and Juggernaut. But yeah, there's just so many chances for cool things that can happen in that.
So yeah, there's I did warn you guys, the Marvel stuff has given us so much material to talk about.
I wanted this podcast to regularly, since it only happen once a month, and I want to take chunks out of it for the YouTube channel and have the rest up on a podcast. My goal is just to regularly be 2.5 to 3 hours long for anyone that's planning on watching this. And we were pretty damn sure we were going to be able to fit that, and we're going on 2 hours and 28 minutes. So yeah.
And if we included the DC stuff, Lord of the Rings, and even like Sandman, this could have went up to like 4 hours.
Oh yeah. I want to keep it within the 3 to 3.5 hour, but we'll see. And like, if it's just cooking good and people are okay with it, we'll go longer. But like, as a monthly podcast, I'm okay with having it be long. So, yeah, for the first time around, I thought this turned out pretty okay.
Yeah, this is a very nice conversation.
Yeah, like to have no scripts, no what I want to say, no need to have a certain subject. We can kind of just throw stuff up and do things however we want. I've wanted to have like an actual just podcast for a while. But again, the hardest part about starting a podcast is figuring out a damn title because everyone and their dog has a podcast now.
That's true.
So, yeah. Well, I'm excited to have this. This is one little thing to break up basically my channel, which is pretty much Fresh Takes, but I'm pretty okay with that. Fresh Takes is one of the most funnest things I've ever done in my life.
Same.
So, yeah. But yeah, we'll have this coming up. We got some other things coming. We got to do some more 0 stars at some point, which we'll figure out. But yeah, this was fun. Yeah, that's pretty much all we really had. We talked about our months, we talked about this, we got it all done. Like I said, yeah, if it was a little bit earlier and we were okay with going to possibly 3 hours, I would have said we could have included the DC stuff. But yeah, I've got to work in the morning, so no. But I was quite happy we got what we did. So we're gonna head on out of here. Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at CaptainK42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. We're also on YouTube. You can find us on Podchaser and the Banana Meter. Listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. And for me, you can find me ever at Organoid Zero. This will be getting edited tomorrow. It'll be going up probably Tuesday because this is going to be a while on my old laptop that I set specifically just for editing now. It breathes a lot easier not having to handle all the stuff I was having to do, but that'll sit there. My streaming schedule for the next little bit is going to be finishing Resident Evil 2, which I'll be doing a fun run with cheat codes for Leon's bit with like unlimited weapons just to see how fast I can get through it. So that'll be a little bit of fun. And then I'll be doing Resident Evil 3 and then heading on to the Last of Us games because the Last of Us will be coming out in September and I want to get the 2 games played out on the channel before then. So that's the near future of streaming and stuff like that. As far as Fresh Takes goes, we've got 2 more weeks of uploads, I believe, before the next Fresh Takes hits. And then that'll be going for a while. That'll be having 25 weeks of that. So you guys will be set on that for a while. That'll be really good. And then what do we got as far as you think for our next 0 hour would be?
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But as far as at Marvel after the credits, we have She-Hulk in like a few weeks.
Yeah, that's very true. I didn't think about that. So we'll have that coming, and that's 9 weeks of stuff. So we're going to be quite busy here, which is a good problem to have. Mm-hmm. But yeah, until next time. And until we have to zero out again next month. See ya!